This is the challenge. Battle for a new champion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 300 of the Right Reality Podcast. Horse everywhere!
Yay!
Walter, the cat's so excited for episode 302. Look at him, he just jumped right into your living room.
Oh my God.
Just dove right at your screens. He is so excited that you have joined us for episode 300 of the number one.
Hell yeah, baby!
Oh my goodness gracious. We made it, Mix. Here we are. 300.
Hooray!
Oh my God. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Look at us.
Look at us.
Who would have thunk? My goodness. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on episode 300. Maybe some of you are finding us for the first time. Congratulations. This is your home now. Pull up a chair. Jump on in the pool. The water is
We are fun here.
And warm. It's like a big old lazy river. That's what we're here for. Coming up in this very special 300th episode, we have our big interview with Michele. Michele with one L.
So
Steven
much
with
fun.
a PH. Mixie. People with very specific names, which people for some reason still can't get right. It's very maddening, but that's all right. That's all right. I know some of you are looking to see if Olivia's part of this. She had some scheduling issues, so as of right now, as we're recording this, she is not. She might be added on at the end. Who knows? But as of right now, it's me, Mixie, and Michele leading you through episode 300. We have a wonderful conversation coming up with her. A lot of stuff we discussed. We have some fun. There's a special guest that joins us in the middle of the episode.
You guys will not want to miss that. That was crazy.
My goodness gracious. It was unbelievable. The reactions were exactly what we thought they would be. So stay tuned for that. Just a lot of fun stuff. And also, congratulations to me and you, Mixie, for being so awesome for getting to episode 300. Look at us. This is
We
great.
did it. I'm so proud of us. And they've only gotten better.
They have. They have. People were out on her at the beginning, guys. What did I tell you? Just wait. Just marinate in it. And
I
look.
don't blame you. I'm out on me often, so I get it.
Generally, I'm out on myself. You know what I mean? So, you know what? It is what it is.
It's a supply chain issue. You'll get that joke later in this episode.
At the end. So let's get right to the interview. We'll talk to you guys at the end of it. We'll thank you. We'll do all that type of fun stuff at the end. But let's get right to it. Here's our interview with everybody's favorite person to hate, Michele.
You love her or you hate her. We just want to party with her. We have orange shirt, purple jacket, queen bee, Michele.
Hi guys, what an intro. Today I am blue tank top. So.
Oh, we love that. Welcome to episode 300. Thank you so much for joining us for this. We are definitely going to be partying, so I'm going to pop my little baby champagne.
I got my Corona here. No free promo.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let me text my sister to get me. I think the only thing I have in the house is a Bud Light. So it's not like,
Hey,
we ain't bringing class, but we definitely see a lot of Berna's ass. I don't know. And happy 300th episode, guys. Congratulations. You know, I love a clean, flat number. It's a big deal. So congrats.
we appreciate
Thank you very much. Are you one of those people then that when you're turning up the volume on your TV that it has to be at like an even or flat number? Like it has to be at 30 or 35. It can't be at like 33 or something like that.
Based on your read about me, what do you think the answer is? Absolutely not.
I don't even know why I asked the question.
We were talking about this earlier. I'm exceptionally chaotic. Nothing about me is even or balanced. I can appreciate it when I see it, but I'm the type of person that I drive everybody crazy because if I'm microwaving something, I have to pull it out and leave seconds on the microwave and it drives people nuts. So no, I'm not that person. Oh, are you too?
I hate that. No, nothing makes me more mad. My fiance does that all the goddamn time. I'm like, what time is it? Oh, it's 0:21. That's not a time.
Okay. It's because I don't like the sound of the beeper. So
that's fine. Just clear it.
Yeah, no. Okay. So my family has the same problem as you do. I'm seeking therapy for a lot of things and I'll just write that down. on the list.
We introduced you with a few names there. Which one is more cringe to you in terms of you being related to a color of a piece of clothing? We are not going to let you pick Queen Bee because that is very, very easy way out. Which one is cringier then of the shirt combinations?
I mean, okay, so I have feelings towards both of them. Purple is my favorite color, so purple jacket feels fine. I mean, hey, you know what? It's the color of royalty. For me also, we knew that orange was a good luck color of the season. So like if you were on the orange team or if you were like wearing orange, we always, or like orange in the elimination, we always felt like it was a good sign. So
interesting.
Yeah, and I got the coin flip on the elimination with Cara, and I chose the orange side. So I don't mind either.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, I noticed I guess since we're talking about it, the orange shirts, the orange color in general of the choice this season. Kylie really seemed to be the only person wearing the orange.
Fully embraced it.
It was just ugly, right? Like that's what the consensus was of everyone. We're just wearing gray because the orange is hideous.
It was truly horrible. When we received... So we're all in the hotel and we do all the prep and whatever, and they give us our uniforms and we all have to go try them on together. And like I go with like Zaza, my group is like Zaza and Hahui, like these girls with like perfect bodies. And I'm like seeing this yellow on them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess they're pulling it off. But like if they can barely pull it off, I sure as hell cannot. It was not flattering for my skin tone. It wasn't flattering for my curves and my edges. It was just, there was nothing about it that was doing me any justice or service. So I wore gray the whole season, which also isn't my color, but I'd rather be drab and dreary than, you know, an Oompa Loompa, I guess.
I thought the gray was nice on everyone. I thought it was a bit more flattering. Since we're talking clothes, how did you feel about them removing your ability to flex fits in the interviews? I mean, you had to have been pissed. I always sat around waiting to see what Free People shirt you were going to put on for your interview, and I didn't get that this season. How did you feel about that?
It was tragedy hath struck when they made a decision to keep us all in the same clothes. I don't really understand the rhyme or reason for that. I feel that maybe because some of this cast is... has some challenges in the confessional department. They needed to have a little bit more creative liberty with how they stitched it together.
There you go. There you go.
So I feel like that could be the reason, but they really, really did me dirty because then I had to wear my hair that exact way all the time and the same jewelry. And I wasn't loving how my boobs were boobing in that top. And I just... It just wasn't it.
So they didn't tell you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When did they go, oh, you're going to have to keep this same fit all season now? And you're like, yeah.
Okay, so we had the first thing where we were like in the arena or whatever, and I was wearing like a drab top that they ended up like, I don't know, they messed it up in the wash and it was all funky and I was like, how can I wear it? Anyways, besides the point. So after that, they were like, we want you to bring us 3 interview tops. I was like, okay, whatever. I gave three options. And they chose one of the 3. And you'll notice in some of them, like one of them I was talking shit about Raven or saying like, I think Raven should go in. I was wearing a blue top that was not uniform with either my first top or my second one. So my first interview, that's what they had chosen. And then I guess they didn't like the way it looked and they switched me to something else. So I didn't really expect to be in that the whole godforsaken time, but here we are. I definitely would have done something different with my hair.
I will say you were the person that we realized we cracked the code.
Don't say we, Steven. You did. I was blissfully unaware.
You helped me crack the code there. I'll take the credit for it. We're a team, episode 300, but that's all right. I'll take some of the credit here. But I was like, are they just doing these interviews like at the end of the season? This seems incredible. And then you popped up. I'm like, oh, my girl's got a tan now.
Yeah.
Okay, these tan lines are different. And that's what I was like, oh, they're making them wear the same thing. Investigative journalism right here at the number one.
Yeah, it was crazy. And they got more. They good job on picking that up. Picking up on that. But they also like they got more particular about it, because at first, like I would like push my hair back. Sometimes I'd have it to the side. Sometimes I was wearing the same thing, but it kind of switched up. Then they took pictures of us and they put it in our rooms near where we would get ready. That's why you see like Kylan looking at Melissa's photo, whatever. They were so that we could style ourselves exactly the same way every interview day. So
that makes sense.
Me and Mixie are sitting here thinking they gave the photo to Kylan so he could fuck the pillow that they attached it to.
Yeah, like
That's
why else
what
would
we
it be
were thinking.
laminated? You know?
Exactly. True. The lamination was just on Melissa's photo, so we might have to unpack that.
Okay.
We don't have enough time to unpack that shit.
No, we don't have time for any of that stuff.
Speaking of unpacking, we need to touch on this because it's kind of just a part of who you are. In your own words, why do you suck in everyone's mind? Why does everyone dislike you on social media? I'm sure your DMs blow up on certain episodes. What is like the reason? Because to be honest with you, we're not really understanding it. So I'm just curious, in your own words, why do people dislike you?
I get a variety of responses to this question. I think on Survivor, it's when I started hearing like, oh, her voice or whatever is annoying. We don't want to hear it, whatever. I can't change that. Sorry. It's just who I am. And like, then it kind of moved into season 38. I got a lot of shit for like maybe not owning up to the decisions that I was making. People were like, she's not strategic at all. She's an absolute mess, all this stuff. The mess part has definitely stuck through, but now I'm too strategic where, I'm controlling the house and I'm, this person who's in power and they like the underdog story. When I was the underdog, they didn't really like me because I was not playing in the best way. And then when I'm playing well, they don't like me. So I don't really know. I don't think that there's anything that I can particularly change to make people like me. They just don't like my vibe. And you know what I say to that? Catch me on a Friday in Hoboken, honey. I don't think that you'll have a problem with me. It's just, you trust me. I'm like, I've done a lot of self-evaluating and I'm like, my friends don't seem to mind. My friends seem to think I'm fun. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Can I tell you what I think it is?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think people see you as an outsider of the show and that you're really good at playing the show. You understand how the show works and the strategy of the show, which is evident based off the last 2 seasons we've seen you on here. But they don't like the fact that you're kind of this quote unquote outsider, that you're coming from this other CBS world. And then they see that as encroaching, almost like you're not exactly, but you're like a stepmother coming in. They're like, we want our old mom back. Your old mom's got 5 kids. She's not coming back at this point. Okay, guys, she's not coming back. They're doing All Stars. All right. Or they're going to pop in from time to time or pop up on another podcast. I think that's what it is. And people see it as kind of this threat to their safe world of what the challenge was. But as we've said this season, this is what the show's going to be, we feel like, for the next.
I don't know. It could be that. I definitely got a lot of heat in my first season ever as like, oh, you're a Survivor winner, so you're automatically a snake and you play this way, that way, whatever.
Right.
So I don't watch a challenge. So I am playing the game. I feel, okay, so I always felt this way about Survivor too. I think that if you watch too much of it, you're going to try to fit a niche or a mold or a persona or a style of gameplay that you've seen before. And I intentionally never watched Survivor. Like I used to watch it when it was airing live, but prior I didn't watch things to prep for it because I never wanted to try to have it in my head that I was going to play a certain way based on how it's been played before. And I've played the challenge the same way. I've just led with which has got me into trouble. Absolutely. Because there are just basic rules that people respect for the challenge that I haven't necessarily followed because I didn't know that there were rules rules. But I kind of went in just being like, okay, this is the landscape of the game and I'm going to maneuver in it how I kind of see it for myself. And people are kind of not used to that sort of strategic Survivor I guess snaky, but also you do what has to be done in order to get you and your friends and your alliance members to the end. You create, so yeah, I think that could partially be it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does. From my point of view, I feel like it's more about who you were attached with. I feel like a lot of people very strongly dislike Jay. If anybody's getting more heat than you are, it's Jay. So at least you're not on the top of the list. Congratulations. Did you enjoy being viewed as like a package deal with Jay? Is that something that you were like prepared for going in? Are you still planning on kind of playing like that if he is in another season with you? Sort of like how is the Jay of it all kind of involved in this? Because I do think it's a big part of it.
It's definitely been tricky. I would say even going into Ride or Dies, it was tricky. Our relationship prior to Ride or Dies, yes, we had a very strong relationship. You can see that we're not just two people that were slung into a pair together. We have a lot of history. And some of that is good and some of that is very turbulent. Like I joke around in Ride or Dies, like, oh, I think our biggest issue is going to be our communication. He cuts me off as I'm saying communication. I'm like, this is our issue, like it has been sort of this very up and down, we dated for a bit. We broke up. That wasn't great. We've kind of had like in really big ins and falling out. So we sort of came into Ride or Dies with a very turbulent relationship, which has then sort of over the years manifested into like a love and respect for each other and like a prioritizing each other, which I think is something that I was kind of lacking when we were in our relationship. And that was a big problem for us. As this game progressed, I felt that I felt that again, where his prioritization of me was kind of falling again. And that's when I started to get a bit like, this is not a you game. This is an us game. And if you're going and making deals, saying that you want to throw Horacio and Kylan in without talking to me, I understand you think you're protecting me because you think that if I know I'm going to have blood on my hands, but really it makes me look in the dark because either way, I'm going to be linked to the decisions that you make. It's about talking
no matter what.
No matter what. So you think you're protecting me, but ultimately Horacio and Kylan are holding a resentment towards me for this. And I didn't know anything about it. Whereas I would have supported you either way. But, I want to talk through the options to make sure that we see all sides of it before you just jump the gun and you talk to Emmanuel and Corey and Callum and all of these guys about the decision that you're going to make. So I think our communication started to crumble. And that's where we're seeing conflicts between our relationship. And I don't know where that necessarily leads us for the future. I think we'll always be friends, and I think I'll always have his back 1,000%. But it's tough.
I mean, he called you a little brat the last episode, so I don't know if you caught that one, but that was nice. He throughout the season just kind of got deeper and deeper with his like arrogance, and like I saw a lot, and I also agreed the way that he was talking to you towards the end of your time. It wasn't the best look. So
it wasn't it.
It wasn't it.
Yeah. I was just like, my guy, like, you guys aren't adversaries. What's going on here? You're talking to her like she's an idiot.
Is he like receptive to you being like, hey, you're being an asshole? Or does he get like more defensive and more of an asshole?
I think I wouldn't say he's necessarily like receptive of it. That's not that's not really how we were. Honestly, I could be a fucking bitch to him too sometimes. And his like, I don't like the way that you talked down. Like he's very good at like taking time to process, being like, I didn't like the way that you talked down to me in that conversation. He'll pull me away from other people because I'll do it in front of people. I'll be like, Jay, shut the fuck up, like whatever. And he'll be like, I didn't like that. And he'll be like, here's, so he is, in that sense, we have good communication. Notice when our conversation devolved, it was just when we were alone. He waited until Berna was there in order for us to have an like transparent conversation. And yes, did I love the way he talked to me in that? No, but I think he was frustrated with the fact that I wanted something different than what he wanted. And he felt like I was not having his back and defending him because I was defending the girls. And in my eyes, I was like, well, for me, I found out a week ago that we weren't all on the same page. So I'm not defending them and not defending you. I'm defending us as a unit, which is what how I thought we were playing the game. So sometimes it can get spicy between us. That our relationship has always been like that. But at the end of the day, I think that his intention for me is traditionally really positive.
As we're watching as the audience at home, it appeared, and what it sounds like you're saying is it appeared that you guys had a huddle up all the time where every single decision is being made. And what it sounds like you're saying, just to clarify, is there was a bunch of stuff that he was doing without you being aware and maybe doing things too late or making deals. And then you're like, bro, you gotta, like, I'm trying to work with you here. It's supposed to be me, you, and then we're going, but you can't do this other shit and not let me know. So he was doing stuff that you were unaware of. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of the girls felt this way. This was not just me. We would so a lot of the times decisions would be made and we would be the scapegoats. Oh, the girls as a unit have decided that this is what we need to do, whatever. It's like, okay, so you don't want the blood on your hands. Like, even decisions we made as a group, it was like the girls, you'll notice early in the season, the girls decided this, it was like, what are you talking about? You just don't want it to fall back on you because you want all of your relationships to look good. And it's really easy to just blame all the girls. But as the season progressed, this unit of like Jay, Emmanuel, Corey, and Callum, when he was in the game, they all shared a room together and they all had these sort of bro ups. They figured out their targets, Horacio being number one, Kylan being in there, and they were just like guns in their direction. And that was never relayed to me. It was relayed to Berna. It was relayed to Mariah. But I think because of my relationship with Olivia and Nerys, that was never passed to me. And I actually found that out through Mariah, which is why then I had a conversation with Jay being like, why was I not in the loop on this? And and yet we see Horacio oftentimes blaming me for that decision. And I mean, hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'll take the blame for anything that happens in our alliance because, it is what it is. I can't change your mind. But I was getting frustrated that I was not like, I have a discussion with me about it because I can pro and con list you. And then we wouldn't devolve into the place that we devolved into. So it was a little bit frustrating. But I think that's also where the conversation where he's like, I've protected you this whole game. That's where that conversation is stemming from because he's like, I'm saying that I am frustrated with some moves that he's been making behind my back. And he's like, I don't care. I've been protecting you. So that's more context maybe to that decision, that conversation.
That makes more sense.
So he was saying like, I was doing this stuff kind of behind your back. So you could have some plausible deniability of what was going on.
Exactly.
Like,
and
I was doing that for us to get further and then you not have to like make an incredibly tough decision between these people that we know you like. You can just be like, I didn't know shit. And Jay's like, hey, I did this for you. That's kind of what we're saying here?
Yes, exactly. And I think that that's the missing piece that people aren't seeing because automatically what I'm trying to tell him is that no matter, I get that emotionally you're trying to protect me from, because also I'm a very emotional person. He knows that this would irritate me, bother me. I'd probably have feelings towards it that he probably didn't want to have to deal with as well. Like that's probably
men don't want to deal with women's feelings.
I mean, honestly, I think he knows when certain things might cause some sort of meltdown for me and tries to sort of protect me from myself as well in some ways. So I think that his intention was good. But what I was trying to say to him is like, but either way, I'm getting looped in with the decision. So plausible deniability or not, people don't believe me because people think that I know what's going on. And when I don't, I look stupid as fuck.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do. You actually just led me into something perfectly. We love a good Michele down. And as you just said, there's warning signs.
Yes. Sometimes
we need a bit of a warning so we can board up the windows and the doors. What can we look out for as a viewer to know that Hurricane Michele down is on its way to touch land?
we got to get our bottled water ready.
Okay.
We have to make sure we have all the batteries and the flashlights,
That's
all
fair.
the things that we
That's
need.
fair. Fill the bathtub with water. I get it.
Oh,
yeah.
Just all the essentials, your go bag, you got your portable chargers ready, all of it.
I hear you. Okay. So traditionally when the Michelle Town
I like that you started that by saying, traditionally one of these
It's
is.
so professional. Like she really does know what the points are.
It's like talking to a meteorologist. Traditionally, they're going to be coming in from this way, and the storm surge is what you really need to be afraid of.
There's a northern wind coming in from the west, and when that
yeah,
a lower wind. No, okay. So I think that there's a few warning signs that you can look for. The first being some sort of emotional decision that I have to make in the game that I know strategically is probably smart, but emotionally doesn't match with how I feel about the person. And then there's guilt underlying there.
Got it.
Okay. Anytime that I'm stuck in a position where there's like people that I'm working with on this side want me to do one thing and people on this side want me to do another, and I'm stuck in the middle and I have to make a decision that's going to hurt one side and then the other. That's definitely a big one.
Okay.
Anytime that somebody kind of calls me out, comes for my character, or is mad at me in some way, that then I have to live in a house with them and be surrounded by them and their negativity all the time. That's like one of the ones that are like brewing for days, and it's like a storm. It's like a category 3 when it hits Florida, and then by the time that it gets to New Jersey, somehow it's a category 5. It starts at a low and then it sort of builds and builds and builds.
Yeah.
And that is a combination of time and knowing that somebody hates me that I have to live with, and then that sort of brews in that way. So yeah, basically people's emotions. I pick any sort of empathic thing usually leads me to the meltdown.
Okay, is there any sprinkling of Berna Bertha involved in that? A little shower of Berna Bertha could be
This is truly, I mean, this is like empathy 101 is that she had my feelings in a chokehold because she really played on like my emotional, she's like, you're my number one. I need you. I love you. You're my queen. And I'm like, shit, I have to protect her at all costs. Even though basically every conversation that I had with her was really turbulent. It usually started with her scolding me in some way, telling me a slew of series of things that I was doing wrong in regards to her, our relationship, or minimizing her feelings or anything like that. And then you'd get to a place of peace, and then it would somehow I misread something, or it was like I would try to say the right thing, that didn't work. I would try to fight back, that didn't work. I would try to just apologize, that didn't work. So there was no real thing except just letting her run it out, run its course, and then you could kind of go back away in peace,
Yeah, like letting a toddler have their tantrum.
Yeah. Go burn off all the energy, start yelling through the house, and then do that. I just hope you got like an extra hourly rate for the babysitting. Like you got your like check, and then they were like, oh, this line item is not overtime. It's Berna Bertha watch. Just the next. Oh, that's where that extra cash came from. Oh, that's really nice that they just chucked some extra money in there.
I didn't know like what I could do. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, and I didn't know what I could do to make it better. Like she was like, I know I'm protecting the game, but you're not giving me enough personal attention, or you're good in this way, but you're bad in this way. And I'm like, I don't know what I can do to help here. Like I am spread. Yeah. I was spread so thin. I felt coming off of USA 2 into this environment. Like I felt like I was like being emotionally terrorized. And the thing is that I do have love for her. So I was like, really just kind of like, what am I doing? What can I do right?
What you're explaining is a lot of people driving around listening to the number one right now being like, that's how I feel about every relationship I'm in with a significant other. What can I do? They don't feel like I'm doing enough. I'm doing too much. You won't listen to me. And people will probably listen to that like, that's the conversation I have with my significant other every day. That's what happens in my brain every single day.
I was in a relationship with Berna. I didn't know I was in a relationship with her, but I fully
Exactly.
was. Yeah.
You were.
My favorite part of it was every time I saw Berta Bertha having some sort of meltdown at any point in the season, you were in the corner. Like, you were just kind of like being like, okay. Like, you're sort of there just to make sure it doesn't go too far, but also like letting her feel like she was getting her
Yes.
voice heard. It was just so funny every single time. Like, when she was going at it with Kylan, you're just like in like the corner of the screen, just kind of like waiting to make sure it doesn't.
You were like
fucking
Berna
explode.
Bertha Secret Service. I thought you were her Secret Service agent, and you were just going to like
Yes.
pull her when the threat got too high. You're like, ma'am, we have to go. Ma'am, we have to go.
It's a lot of like, so the fight that she had with Melissa, all this stuff, she had been having a meltdown to me privately prior to that. And so I saw the storm cloud coming, and then it went into the fight that it did. And then me and Emmanuel kind of like sweeped up the pieces after. They just show Emmanuel, but this was a long, long conversation that the three of us had in the back, like, trying to talk through it. So a lot of times it was just, I honestly felt bad that she was going through like such personal stuff that obviously seemed to be sort of triggering her and cascading into the game, and her not feeling important
Right.
or worthy or understood or all of these things. So I was just trying to like bring her in and make her feel better, and that somehow ended up just kind of making me feel worse. And it was like emotional drain. The more that I gave, like the more taxed I felt and frustrated with her I felt.
Sure.
But I feel like you're that person for everyone. Am I wrong in that? I feel like you're, for lack of a better term, like the house mom. Like, people come to you and be like, I got this issue, I just need to vent. Is that something that you feel? Do you think you're good in that position? Or is that like, hey guys, like, is there anybody else that can take this off my shoulders? I got a lot going on here, please. Like, I'm doing a lot. I don't need all of your problems too, for Christ's sake.
I think that it's a role that I step into in like my regular life as well. So it's not really, and also like I unload on people too. I'm very like, I don't know, you guys could probably pick up on this quickly, but like I will just be vulnerable like right off the bat. Like I really don't have any problem like digging in deep, asking the tough questions, like getting to the core of it. And so I give a lot of myself to people, and usually I expect sort of that also in return. So I set myself up for it in a lot of ways. I would say truly. And this again is
because you're like, hey, I did all this for you, and then you just like ghost me. You don't even say hi in the hallway, or you're gonna do something that doesn't. Yeah, I can see how that's just. Again, people listening to this, I feel like, are going to see that you're much more relatable now than I think they've seen you before, because you're mentioning things that I think you're doing it on a television show. People are doing this in their regular everyday lives with nothing else on the line. And then you have to do it where there's cameras and money involved and all that type of shit. So
yeah, I think these are my friends, and everybody jokes like, oh, she has so many friends in this game. And it's like, yes, but they're my friends because I played a lot of seasons with them. And you have to understand that watching back the show is a very taxing experience. And so after Spies, Lies, and Allies, like, Berna is calling me to like vent about an episode, or me and Emmanuel had a relationship. Corey has been my partner before, and me and him talk and text every day. Like emotionally, I have been there and they have been there for me. And same thing with like Olivia and Nerys and Mariah. And so really like they are actually my friends because we've emotionally been through it inside and outside of the house. And I've maintained those relationships. I don't just get out of the house and I'm like, yeah, you mean nothing to me. I'm like, we're going through now the experience of like watching it back, getting the hate. I'm going to check in on you if I see something like on social media or anything, just to make sure you're okay on like a basic human level. And so the trickle in effect from that in the game. And then also like, if Berna is going through something or Nerys is going through something or Olivia is going through something, that's also how I respond in the game. Same with Corey. So then, it ends up being this whole big alliance clusterfuck, but that was not my intent. It was just like, it was just more that
it's the perfect way of saying it. It's a clusterfuck. We've talked about on the show multiple times. There's when 80% of the house is an alliance. It's not an alliance. Like, there's just, you can't have alliance with everybody on the show. It's just way too many people.
But like when you look at who is running the final right now, like, is that not my whole alliance basically?
Exactly.
Yeah.
People want to go Jay's shit, Michelle's shit. I'm like, they got their whole team there. Isn't that the point?
Yeah,
isn't that the point?
I mean,
you know,
obviously we lost like Ed, who like, that was at the hands of a purge, and me, and that was at the hands of a purge. But I mean,
right?
Who else really in our alliance? I mean, I guess you could say Chauncey, I guess, but
oh my God, I forgot he was on the show.
I do too. Sorry, Chauncey.
We had conflicts with him because of things that he had said about all of us, like prior to the game.
Yeah.
So really, we like who from our alliance did we actually lose?
Yeah.
So yeah, people can hate on it. How can you be in an alliance with half the house, whatever? But my half of the house that I was in an alliance with all made it to the end. So I don't really.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say real quick before Mixie asks the next question. In about 15 minutes for you guys listening, we will have somebody else joining us really quickly. As just a special guest for episode 300
Michelle
as well.
Doesn't know.
Michelle does not know. So we have a surprise for her too at this point. It's all good. It's all great. So it's fine.
It's all
fine.
fantastic.
Listen, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Okay.
I have such a long list of people that would not be fine if they show up here. So I would have loved a little forward.
Maybe they're on the list. Maybe they're not on the list.
That Bud Light is starting to feel a bit more urgent now.
It is. Do you need to go get it?
Go get the Bud Light. We'll do a little song and dance.
I texted my sister being like, "Can you get me a Bud Light?" She's like, "I'm walking Draco. Is this really a priority?" Yes, it is a priority.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Now it is.
Okay.
Now it is.
Fuck, you guys have me nervous. All right, hold on.
Yes. Oh, 2 cans.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I brought options. Okay. Because I didn't know where we were going and I didn't know how serious this guest was going to be. So I figured I'd bring you options. So I have a Loverboy Cosmo.
It's very serious. Oh, yes.
And
I've never seen that before.
That feels like
They're
a more.
delicious.
This is just a canned Cosmo?
Yes. And it
Okay.
I
feels
think
like
that's the go.
the more intense option of the two. And then a Bud Light is a classic, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
You gotta have the Bud Light in the fridge, yeah.
I would go Loverboy.
Okay.
Personally. I don't know if that makes you more nervous for who's coming, but that would be my go-to on this.
I mean, I don't know. I've heard it all now. You know, this morning I got a notification that Horacio and Nerys did a podcast and that Horacio called me a witch in it. So I don't know what I thought I was cool with Horacio. Now I found out that he apparently hates me and that I'm a witch. So I don't know what I have a long list of people that apparently I have issues with that I didn't even know I had issues with. So let's just hope that this is not one of those people.
I didn't even know he could say things like that.
I know.
Challenge producers right now are listening to this podcast being like, why couldn't he say anything like that during the interviews that we had him in for? Like,
Hey,
all we were asking for him to do.
If anything, you're pretty much a guarantee on a rival season. So there you go.
Hey.
All they have to do is line up anybody who I've ever played with, just close my eyes and I could be like, you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
That
spin
one
around.
season where there was like, everybody was like, I feel like this is rivals when they got there and they started picking people. And then they're like, well, it could be any of these people. I've double crossed all of these people. They don't like me. It's going to be you this time. Yeah.
I know, but I do have a lot of friends. I swear I do have a lot of friends. I
believe
you.
I believe you.
It seems to be exceptionally polarizing. Like people literally hate me so passionately or they're like my best friend. I seem to not be able to find a middle ground.
It's almost like you're describing Taylor Swift.
Oh my God. Honey. I'm in my lover era. My reputation era.
Okay,
Yes.
that was okay. So you're in reputation / lover right now. That's where you're at right now.
I would say my reputation probably, since it seems
Got
a bit more. Yeah, it seems a bit more accurate. But I'm heading in. I'm hopefully heading into my lover era.
We
love that
we like
for
to
you.
hear that.
Thank you.
Speaking of Taylor Swift and all of her boys that she likes to have
Oh
around,
Jesus! Jesus!
let's talk about your showmance.
Hey,
What is it?
You said love her era, so you started it.
Damn it,
What
I
is
really
it
did.
about guys with face tattoos? Can you break this down for me? Because it was Emmanuel and now it's Callum. Is it a thing that you knew that you were into? Is it a recent discovery? Is it just a coincidence that they both are covered in face tattoos? What's the deal?
I don't know. I have done a lot of self-reflection about this, okay? And what I realize is that it takes a certain amount of confidence and swagger to have tattoos on your, like a bunch of tattoos on your body in the first place, right? I feel like that's kind of this edgy, there's kind of this like edginess. Now, once it creeps up to the face, it's a very questionable decision to make, you know? It's like, wow, I'm really confident enough in myself that I really just said, I'm going to do
this. It is a
this
permanent move.
forever. It's forever. So I think it takes a lot of swag and confidence to be able to do that. And I tend to gravitate in my, everybody who I've ever dated has looked very, very different. But the one kind of universal thread is that they have like a level of confidence and like persona when they walk in the room. And even Emmanuel and Callum are very, very different, but they definitely have that kind of confidence about them. Some would say cockiness and arrogance, but it depends on who you ask. And so I think that that's really the underlying reason. But it turns out that most people with face tattoos, not only are they confident, but they're really, really not great with girls.
Well, they're also cheaters.
Yeah, they're cheaters. They might have girlfriends at home, Some might say that. We're not saying that.
Some might say that.
Some might say that.
I know. I literally looked in the room and like, at one point, I actually like started crying and really scolded Jay about this. But there was a point where I came into the room and it was like Emmanuel, Jay, and Callum all sitting there talking about me. And I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. And Jay was like, look,
worst nightmare.
It's your ex, it's your recent ex, and it's your future ex. And I was like, right. So I was like, okay, so here's what we're going to do this week, boys. Get in line. Get in line.
I'm going to just go jump in the pool and put some weights on my ankles. I'll see you guys later.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Exactly. But to be honest with you, I worked with all of them. I mean, Lord knows I love an ex.
Cool with your exes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say it works out well for you. I know I think you had mentioned somewhere else that you had not officially known that he was seeing somebody until it aired. Mm-hmm. You can confirm that report. Yeah. So,
I had like a podcast or like a podcast. Some of the podcasters get the episodes a little bit early. And so somebody reached out to me being like, hey, did you know? And I was like, I did not know. And I was like, what do you mean?
I'm finding out right now.
And, they like, it was the thing that really got me was like the FaceTime portion where it was like, you literally are telling her you love her and you're like, it was such a fucking bold-faced lie that what he did. And he tries to skirt around it and say like, well, we weren't that serious, whatever. Like, well, then you're lying to me or you're lying to her. One of those things is true because they can't both be true. You're telling me that it's not that big of a deal. You're telling her that you love her and you're in a relationship with her. So you're lying to somebody here. And
right.
Yeah, I felt so fucking deceived because the lengths that he went to make me feel that we were in a relationship, I would push him away and he would go to extreme lengths to pull me back. If he sensed even a slight distance or cold shoulder from me, he would go into overtime, making me pancakes, making me dinner, bringing me coffee every day, making sure that if I didn't sit by him on the bus, he would come by me and be like, why aren't you sitting by me? Like he had to be, if he didn't see me for an hour because I was in an interview, he'd be like, where's Michelle? I haven't seen you all morning. If I didn't want to sleep with him because I don't like sleeping with people the day before a challenge because I want to get rest and whatever. He's like, I don't like that. Like, you should be sleeping with me every night. Like, he oversold to the point that that's called a love bomb. Don't fucking love bomb me when I'm trying to create boundaries. Hey, you know what? There's a point where it's like, this could be just like a sort of a fling thing, and that's fine, but don't start creating life plans. Like, don't sell me a life plan if you have somebody at home. And like, I know better than that, but at the same time, when somebody's consistently to the point that everybody's like, whoa, this is the standard. It's like Michele and Callum are 100% in it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew. It just felt like it was over the top. Like, why? Like, why do it?
Yeah. Overcompensating, it seems like.
Yeah. And his girlfriend reached out to me being like, he told me that he was using you for the game. I'm trying to figure out what's the truth and what's not. And I'm like, girl, I don't even know what to tell you, because if he was, then that is such next level deception. And, I opened up to him about things going on with my family and my brother and past relationships, especially with like Emmanuel and Jay and all of that. So he knew how people in the house had burned me, how much I had my guard up. Like, and he really did everything to try to break all my walls and my guards down and then use that against me. It was just so fucked.
Diabolical.
No, actually diabolical. Truly.
I hate that for you. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that.
I can't believe like the lengths. Like, there's obviously, the politicking and stuff like that. That was a phrase that was coined. But like, this seems like, oh, let me like full on wife you, but it being for the game. Like, there's like levels we can do this at. That's been pretty far established on this show.
Yes.
But
also like, the thing is, if you ask any other person who was living in the house, all of them were shocked by it. All of them. And with the exception, I think Jay says, oh, I knew something was going on. I was like, well, you know what? You could have sat me down and talked to me about it then. And
there's Jay with his communication skills, just killer.
No, really. And
He's on trend. At least he's consistent with it.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is just so, you're right, it's diabolical. And the truth is that at least what I think is, you see with Emmanuel, he ran through every girl in that house. Sorry, hate to say it, but really, I mean, he did. And all of the girls knew what was going on, and they were able to make a conscious decision of whether or not they wanted to pursue it. And so, listen, I think he knows that I wouldn't have, because I really am very, very like a boundary person. So maybe that's why he kept it from me, but at least give me the opportunity to choose whether or not that's something that I am okay with. And it's the lies, it's the deception, it's the depth of it that is just so diabolical, really.
Well, then, now that you know all this information, it probably felt good to know that Devin got him out of the house. Like, that had to have been just... that your buddy came in and was like, hey, fuck you. Come down here and count balls. You can't count.
Yeah. So what's so funny,
we're gonna count how many girlfriends you have at home. 1. End. You're out. Get the fuck out. 5.
I was so mad at Devin because so everybody's like, oh, you should have protected Callum. And I literally said, I was like, don't say Callum. And he goes, I think I'm going to say Callum, a battle for Michelle's heart. Like, as he said, a battle for Michelle's heart in a joking way. And they didn't air it. And I was like, thank God they didn't air that, because whatever, it would have been so cringe.
Rumors.
Rumors. The rumors, the nastiness. That's a Salt Lake City quote. But anyways, so, so I was so mad at him, and I was like, what the fuck, Devin? He goes, cry me a river, Shelly, like being such an asshole to me too. So I was like, fuck Devin. I was really ready to write him off. So I get home, I'm in the hotel after being purged, and I turn my phone on. He's like my first call. He must have been reading the spoilers or something, like, calls me right away. And he's like, I did time with him at after, and he fully has a girlfriend, Michelle, And I was like, no fucking way he does not. I thought Devin was lying to me. I wasn't talking to Devin at the time. Like, I stopped talking to him. He's like, you're avoiding me, all this stuff. I'm like, fuck you. And then all this happens, and I'm like, Devin, I love you so much. You're the best. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it.
I could just see him doing all the. I mean, what a hero. What a hero to do that for you when you don't need it. What a great friend. Because sometimes friends have to step in when there's something bad going on in your relationship. They just need to bring it to light and be like, listen, I'm trying to help you. You don't see it now, but I'm trying to help you. And then he did the whole thing with Mariah as well. Be like, I think she's fucking that giant guy over there. And then that started all that. So honestly, what a hero he is to all of us.
He is.
God bless Devin.
He's a hero. He's my hero, truly. You know, I've thanked him a million times since then. In fact, I should probably send him a bouquet of flowers or something like that. But he really...
It might be nice.
But what I will say is, like, when Callum left, I was so sad. I was so sorrowful. But then, like, just as quickly as you can grow attachment in the house, like, your attention shifts and pivots. I think I needed him in the beginning of the game. I really do, because USA was so serious, and he allowed me to take my mind off things and have fun and be playful and, like, focus on that. It made me miss home a little bit less because, like, I had a distraction. When he left, it was like, now the game is truly gearing up. Michele, you need to be locked in because tough decisions need to be made. So it kind of, like, handled itself in some ways. Like, it kind of felt like him going home was the perfect time because my focus and attention needed to be back on the game. And so it all happened the way that it should have.
You don't really need your attention dragged to somebody who's just been on the show for the first time ever. You know, that's really going to potentially hurt you if you're trying to save somebody else who, again, might be British and is not in your alliance.
And I
not that anybody else on the show would do that. Not that anybody else on the show would do anything.
Nobody would ever do that. But
or be like, why do we have to do the dirty work? This is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I will say
nobody would do that.
Nobody would ever do that. I would hate that. But I will say that from the beginning, from the jump, I literally said to Callum, I was like, I will not be telling you everything that I know. Don't press me. Don't pry me. Don't try to manipulate. Don't try to sway my decision making. I'll do what I can so that it's not you, but there will come a point, and I said this to him multiple times, there will come a point that I will vote you in. And I never tried to sugarcoat it. He knows that. Everybody, like, you know, it's a topic of conversation at reunion that it was like, I never tried to say that I was going to protect him in any way. That being said, there was a challenge where it was like 2 triangles over water. I don't remember, but it was like him or James, I thought, and Emmanuel ended up going in. And I had asked Kylan and Horacio to please not put in Callum. But I didn't know that meant that it was going to fall on Emmanuel. And so that's when I had this reality check of, like, me trying to protect him just caused somebody else that I truly am aligned with to go in without me knowing the full information. So that's when I started to think, hey, this is dangerous, you know? So
yeah.
If only other people could take some of that advice and just see what else was going on. You know what I mean?
There, Steven.
We'll get there. I've been told we have to push 10 minutes down the line.
Yes, the
10 minutes
running
down the
a
line.
little late.
10 minutes down the line.
Okay.
10 minutes down the line.
So we'll play a quick game while we wait.
Yeah.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
Callum. Cassidy.
Or this photo that I just sent you in your DMs.
That you have in your DMs that will now be shown on screen.
As soon as you open it, we'll show it on the screen.
Oh my God. Okay, kill that. Whatever that is.
That's a you and Jay. That's you and Jay.
Who made that? Who made that?
I don't know. I found it on the internet.
That's floating around on the internet?
Yeah. That was my reaction to it as well.
Oh my God.
It's quite a creature, isn't it?
Ew.
What's this person's name? If we had to name this person right now, what is this person's name?
I don't know.
And again,
it's giving Tammy.
Oh, I like Tammy. Okay.
I like Tammy.
Fuck, marry, kill. Callum, Cassidy, or Tammy?
Honestly, kill Tammy. Fuck Callum because you know that did good. And marry Cassidy. If I could really choose, I would fuck Cassidy and marry Cassidy. Kill the rest.
I think we all were. I will join you in that. I was very jealous. I was like, just another L for me. Michelle's over here doing all the things I want to do.
Bro, honestly,
I'm just sitting here watching it at home.
When I fall into a dark place, I think of that glorious moment. But honestly, I wasn't even initiating it. She really just dipped down and just started making out with me. It was the most unexpected thing. I said, hey, who am I? If the universe wants this for me, who am I to deny the universe, you know?
What a sweet little tasty treat, you know?
Yeah. How great. How great for you. Just, you're sitting there minding your own business, having a lovely drink, relaxing in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, this angel's just like, hey, you want to do this? Oh, okay. Well, why not?
I know.
Let's go.
I know. It was wild.
I just got a text, Steven. It seems as though our surprise guest is
Ready.
ready.
They're about to join. Here we go.
let her
We
in.
might hear the audio first.
Okay, it's a girl.
Before the video.
Okay, it's a girl.
So, joining the podcast, we would all like to welcome Laurel.
Hey, what's up?
No, we're just fucking with you. This is an audio clip I got. She's out here.
No one's coming. No one's coming.
No one's coming. I'm so sorry.
We had to do it.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I kind of have to pee. I feel like I just let a little pee out. Oh my god, I hate you guys.
Sorry, we had to do it.
No other podcast is doing that shit.
I was like, does she know I'm here? Should I just be quiet so she doesn't know that I'm in the podcast? Like, I literally, you don't even understand the layers and thought process that I just went through from like, how am I going to handle this? What do I say? Do I introduce myself? Do I shut up? Do I pretend I lost contact?
Oh,
I thought we were cool with Mixie and Steve. They're going to just drop this shit on
gonna
me.
fuck me like this.
I was literally like, I can pretend my internet went out, you know, fall off the
Yeah,
face
you
of
could
it.
have.
Wow, you guys are cruel and fucked up.
I'm using this old janky computer.
That's why I want to do a little drunk, and then we were going to drop that, and then
God.
that's it. We won't do anything else mean.
Okay, thank you.
Where are
Oh,
you
God,
with
that was
her?
good.
Have you guys talked? I'm assuming you talked at the reunion. I'm sure that was a whole fucking thing.
Talk might be a strong word. There might have been just
Screaming.
words thrown out into the ether. Yeah.
You know, I think that, dare I say, we've rounded a corner?
Oh,
No, guys, no.
maybe a base? Maybe first base?
No,
No?
no,
Oh, I
no,
thought
no.
that's weird.
I think it turns from haters to lovers. I think that's what I'm foreseeing.
I've really tried to push that with her as well. I said, listen, I understand. Maybe you don't like me right now. Do we need to kiss it out? Like, because I am in that era right now, and no, but I think that I think she doesn't understand me. And I think Laurel rejects anything that she doesn't necessarily understand. And so,
That's fair.
like, and also I think that I have a lot of like signs of weakness that I don't view as weaknesses, but she might. Like the way that I get really emotional over like people or circumstances or whatever. She's like, just stand on it and be like, what strong? And I'm like,
Yeah.
but this is like, there's strength also in vulnerability, and like, I get it. Nobody wants to have meltdowns all the time, but like also sometimes like feel all the things, and something in my regular life, I don't think that makes me somebody who is deserving of critique or like hatred. In the game, I can understand how that might rub you the wrong way or whatever it is. But I think generally things that she doesn't like about me are things that make me a really good friend in real life. And I can't change her perception. So, and I've realized, you know, I've tried to find a middle ground with her. I have tried kind of fighting back. I tried sort of every avenue, and there's really no way that I can make her appreciate the type of person I am. So at this point, you just have to give up and say, well, maybe it's not me, it's you, or, you know, an issue about something about me really just gets under your skin and you don't like me. And that's something I can't change. So I just need to stop like trying, you know?
Yeah.
Which is sad because I always want to get along with people. I don't want to have like this underlying vendetta that like feels like something that is it's not necessary to have a vendetta with somebody like that. Really, like on a personal level, I have no issue with, but she seems to have a personal issue with me. And so I'm just like letting it ride, and the ball's in her court as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. Maybe there's room for growth in the future. I don't know. Maybe there is. I certainly hope so.
I'm like, Laurel, I'll buy you flowers.
Yeah, you guys would be a killer duo.
I'm like, I'll buy you flowers. We'll get along. every time I've hung out with her in New York, and like we were getting along, and then suddenly like she's kind of like chirping online, and I was like, what the heck? Like I thought we were fine. So I like can't sort of read what's going on, and I just realized like I'm just going to give up and stop trying.
Do you think there was anybody behind the scenes that was like maybe additionally throwing fuel on the fire that you either like? To me, that would make sense. Not that anything like that would happen this year with other people involved, or people not on the show or in other people's ears, chirping people, telling them shit,
saying shit. That would be ridiculous.
Nobody would do that.
No, never.
That would be a crazy thing to fucking do to people. No.
I think with Cara,
relationships.
I think with Cara, I think what we see with Cara choosing me probably comes from, it's probably twofold. The fact that she thinks that she could beat me, coupled with the fact of, people who are kind of chirping, whether that be fans, like we need to get Michelle out, or whether that be other people who have played with it. I don't know where that's coming from, but with Laurel, I really just think that it's some sort of like true deep-seated issue that she has with me. And I have tried every which way to try to squash it, but it just, maybe we're just apples and oranges. I don't know.
So let's talk about Cara, your victory against Cara. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You were she comes in and she sees you. And I think like that, you probably don't remember like what went on in that moment where your name was called and the whole
her name wasn't
going
called.
Down the line.
The color of her outfit was called.
That's right. That's my mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll take a step back from social media because of that. What was going through your mind at that moment? Because it kind of looked like you were like, all right, we'll do this. And you're walking down there. Was it the thought that I've been doing so well and this is how this might end at this point? To go from that moment of this is where it could potentially end to me, to you crying in your interview saying, I'm so happy this might be like the peak of what I've done here. Is that, I mean, as you were saying, maybe on brand for you to roll through those emotions that quickly. Can you walk me through that moment from coming down, what was going through your brain, to finishing it and that euphoric high and watching it back, and if it changed at all for you?
Yeah, so the week before Laurel came in, and really a lot of my anxiety leading up in this chaos phase had been Laurel coming, because I felt that for good television, what was definitely going to happen is, if anything 100%. Confirms that there's not a hand going into production choosing this stuff, I would say that this would be it, because how poetic would it be for Laurel to choose the cast, to choose me? I mean, it's TV gold. So for me, that had been this really underlying anxiety, just like CT coming, choosing cast, choosing Jay was kind of his anxiety, right? Like a lot of these people, because they're so new, they don't have like the layers of vendettas that we do. So as much as having friends in the game was to my benefit, that chaos portion was almost to my like disservice to me, because exactly what my benefit is my weakness, right? Like I have relationships, I have vendettas as well, though. So once I got through Laurel coming in and her going against Raven, I was like, I'm in the clear. I shouldn't have any other vendettas. So when Cara came in with that level of heat, I don't know her and I haven't watched her seasons. I was expecting her to come in and be like, so happy to be here on her like redemption tour of like, I'm back. This is my arena. Like just more amping her. But what ended up happening was kind of she started tearing us down, which was not what I had expected. So I was already sort of caught off guard by what I thought was going to happen versus what was happening. Then she asked me to throw in one of my friends, which at that point I could not do, because I was like, which I would never do, honestly, with those girls. I would never choose to throw one of them in instead of myself. I really sat on it and I was like, if I'm going down there, my thought process was, well, at least I'm going out in a way that is defending my girls. And I at least can hang my hat on being a loyal person. Now, it's so funny because everybody thinks I'm the most disloyal and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I went into an elimination against Cara.
I just don't get.
Because you did that.
Trying to be loyal. And it consistently is read in a different way. So that was sort of my mindset going in. I was like, if I go home, I can hang my hat on going home against Cara and protecting my girls. So that's where my mindset was. But then something clicked into place for me where I was just like, I feel so calm, so at peace. I think coming from USA, where I went into the first elimination there, which is highly stressful. I just had gone home not long ago. So like, I hadn't been in the arena this season, but I had been in the arena recently. And I knew what it felt like to win.
Yeah. Right.
I knew what it felt like to lose. So my fear was not really as there as it is for a lot of people, the jitters. So I was just locked in, really. And hearing everybody cheer for me was very, very, very helpful. It made me feel like I had like a purpose to be there and to come back in. So it was encouraging.
That's good. Watching it back and, knowing that all of the fans that have been waiting to see Cara, we're going to see her and then see her lose to you. Did it change kind of the happiness that you had of like the high of accomplishing that, which is just at point face value, a massive accomplishment to beat somebody like that? Like, did it take away the joy of it in any way?
Not really. I think that, the great thing about having so many friends in this game is so many people were like hyping me, because I traditionally, I know you wouldn't think this because I have this queen bee comment, but actually like I really am sort of not somebody who like loves the spotlight on me. I sort of do like to be a little bit more beta and a lot of like I'm good with not being the main character. I sort of prefer to be like the secondary character. So all the attention and stuff on it was kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety. And but everybody kept being like, you beat Cara, and I started to be like, okay, that is a big deal. And I knew that I didn't need help from the puzzle. So no matter what people said, it was like, okay, they can think that because they're defensive of their girl and they want her to be back and they need justification. But I know what happened, and that's like enough for me. Nobody can tear you down if it was a basic 9-piece fucking puzzle. Like it really was not that hard, and not selling Cara short, but she really she had the strength on me tenfold. She could have whipped those things in and gotten it done if she saw the puzzle, So, but if you want to underestimate,
she blocked you with that piece. What did you think when she just left that piece in front of you? What was your thought process there? Like, oh.
No, I had no thought. There was no thoughts in my brain.
It just zones out. You're just there. Nothing is running through. It's just like, do you remember? I think we've talked to a few other people who have said during eliminations, especially something like that, I remember the horn going off and then the horn going off at the end. There is nothing in the middle. Would you say that is a fair assessment of how your brain processes it during that and remembers it after?
It depends. There's clips and pieces of majority. I mean, I've been in a lot of eliminations now. There's definitely clips and pieces that stick with you. Like for me, I don't remember completing the whole puzzle, but for me, the part that sticks with me is when I was putting in the second piece and I understood the format of the puzzle. Because then I kind of think I went into autopilot sort of after that. But when I realized that the outside ring was the color and the inside ring was the color, and I had made a mistake because the piece was upside down. Like I remember like things like that, but I don't remember putting every piece in. I remember me being stuck on one of the pieces because I couldn't flip it over. But it is sort of clips. It's your adrenaline is so high that you can't remember the full thing. It's like you're just same thing with any daily challenge is really the same. Your adrenaline is just going. It's sort of like the important pieces are there, but everything else is sort of blacked out.
Damn.
I can't imagine just the after of that euphoric high and being like, yeah, I'm gonna jump on top of this puzzle and fucking curtsy to everybody. Of course I fucking am. Of course I fucking am. Why wouldn't I? I've earned this. Get me up here. This thing could be 8 feet high and I'm fucking scaling it right now. Let's fucking do it. You earned that curtsy is what I'm saying.
I don't remember.
People were like, how dare she? How dare she? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. She earned it. She can do whatever the fuck she wants now at this point.
And like the thing is too that people have to understand is like, it's so different because I've been on both sides of the coin where I've been the one voted in like prior, so I had time for prep, and I've been the one
Yeah.
blindsided to go in. And it's definitely different when you're like, fuck you, you called me down. You, like, nowhere along the way, I tried to extend an olive brand. Like, I tried to, behind the scenes, sort of joke with Cara, being like, haha, look at your guns, look at mine. Like, you know, like, sort of jokey things. And I couldn't really break her. And I think that that's just her going into her zone. But for me, I'm like, calm me down. I've tried to handle it with grace. Like, you know, at this point, I'm just, this is no skin on your back. Sure, it's $10,000, but for me, it's like my opportunity to win the whole game now hinges on this. Like, you fucked with me. You called me down. I felt like I had won fair and square. I was so psyched. So yeah, I got up and did the whole thing, which if I could take it back, I would.
Hell yeah, girl. Really?
No. Come on. No.
You did that shit.
You get it. You earned it at that point for beating who you beat in something that clearly, to at least us watching, you didn't need help. There's difference if like everybody else did the fucking work for you. And then you're like, yeah, fucking look at me. Ah! But like you did it yourself. You get to take that bow. Nothing to get. I will also say when we talked to Cara, she said she was looking for somebody to not name names, to do what you did. And she claims that if you would have said somebody, she would have just gone to the next person and hoped that they didn't say anything. So whether that's true or not.
It's so interesting because, you know, I've talked to the other girls and one or two of them did say that they would have said it a name, which is very interesting because it never even crossed my mind as an option to say one of the names. Like, it was just like,
no,
wow, you're going to look like really shitty if you say a name.
Yes.
So I felt like
that's way bigger of a problem.
Right. So I felt like
that's what we said is like you saying a name would have just been far worse for you.
Right. And you know, Cara had said, like, if you don't have the balls to say a name, you obviously don't want to be in this. And I was like, well, I'm also playing a game with these people where if I do say a name, I'm kind of fucked. And they're my alliance members. Like, so it's really messed up. And she's like, you're bullying the people on the bottom. I was like, no, those are the names we said because they're not in our alliance. Like, you know, like, So they're down there for a reason. We've already said names. So you want us to say names that are not the names that we've already said.
She knows how this works.
She knows. She knew. And I think
she's been there many a time. She knows how it works.
I'm like, she started with me. She knew it was going to be me. I think that.
Yeah.
I think she knew.
It was written in the stars.
It was written in the stars. Apparently, Paulie thinks I'm a snake. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that came out of left field.
He said he didn't say it, so I'm going to believe him. And I like Paula. And I'm sorry. I like Paulie and I like Cara. I have no resentment towards them now. I think she didn't. You know, she didn't really know me. So, and I do look like I'm somebody who's easy to beat. So, I mean, why not? Is what it is. I hear you, girl.
Damn.
The fans at home have spoken. They asked a longtime contributor to this podcast, my mom LaFranc, come back. She's been out for a while. So Mom LaFranc actually has a question for you. I'm going to play the question. This is from my mom, Mom LaFranc.
Hi, Michelle. This is Mom LaFranc with an important question.
Very
what
important.
was harder for you, being on Survivor, where you eat next to nothing for days, perhaps a bowl of rice, or having to eat all the gross food during at least one episode of the challenge? I know Stephen and I thoroughly enjoy watching all the bad food going down,
It's true.
then coming back up. Bye.
Okay.
She's so damn cute.
She literally sounds like an angel.
She is.
She sounds amazing. I would love to have a Cosmo with that woman. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe a Pinot Grigio, maybe a Chardonnay type of gal, but
she likes a Merlot. I'll tell you that. Merlot. She likes a Merlot. She likes whatever wine you're drinking. She'll probably partake. Okay. Come on out to LA. She'll be here in a couple months. You go hang out at one of the Vanderpump restaurants. She'll drink. Yeah,
maybe she's an herb. She seems like somebody who's probably an herbal tea drinker or something. She probably barely drinks, but I can
not a tea gal.
Okay, cool. So she likes her Merlot. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so I felt well. Obviously, when it comes to the eating stuff, honestly, I would rather starve than eat disgusting things. I honestly would. The oil went down easy and came back up and easier. And it was just it was really, I mean, I went to Italy this summer and I had like an oil pasta, and I actually had to exit the building, go into the parking lot and throw up because I really like it's like you're scarred from the oil. But Survivor, like when you really, if we're taking the food aspect out of it, obviously you can't take the starvation aspect out of it, but what's harder, Survivor or the challenge? I've given this a lot of thought, and I come up really, they both have their challenges in different ways. Like I think that certain seasons of the challenge have been harder for me. Like Ride or Dies was one of the harder seasons I've ever done on anything. But like the physical drain of Survivor is like unmatched and unparalleled. You're like battling with yourself on Survivor, and you're battling with like your primal needs on Survivor, and you're battling with like your emotional state on the challenge. So it's just different pieces of yourself that you really have to like reflect on. But both suck. I don't understand why I'm on these shows.
You sign up for them. I just want to make that clear to you. You are the person that's allowing yourself to do this.
I don't feel like I'm an active participant in me choosing to do these things in my life. I don't know who's taken over, but it surely could not be me subjecting myself to this sort of turmoil.
Blame the third. Great way to go.
Yeah. Blame the supply chain. That's what we do a lot on this show. It's the supply chain.
It's definitely the supply chain.
Supply chain issues. There you go. See, guys, you want to complain about her? It's the supply chain, you fucks. Come on.
We can't control that.
We can't.
What are you talking about? You know, the supply chain, the ports are closed. I don't know, all that shit.
I love that.
Whatever CNBC is telling us.
That's going to trickle its way into my regular life. I can already sense it.
Supply chain. Yeah.
Great. It's an easy out.
You're going to have another drink tonight? Yeah, supply chain issues, bitch.
Obviously. Guys, when you see me on another season and there's a supply chain quote in there, just know that it's a nod to you guys.
You need to use it. When people are like, why'd you vote me in? How could you do that? You don't understand the supply chain.
It's a product
There's a huge supply chain issue.
Yeah. It's not me. It's
not you.
Trickle down. Yeah, it trickles down. One of my favorite comedians has a whole bit because he said, you know, his brother was in the army and all this was going on during Iraq and stuff like that. And people would come up to him and be like, hey, you know, what do you think about the war? And he said, what I would say every time is he would say this line. And then he says, you immediately have to walk away. And by the time they realize it makes no sense, you've disappeared into the party and people don't know what's going on. He goes, so what you say is, last time I checked, this is America. And then you walk away and people go, that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Shout out to
you could use that one too.
I feel like that also.
So you can use both of them.
That also might make its way into my day to day. It's really.
I like it.
I pick up a lot of idioms and sayings that are slightly strange. It's part of my charm and allure. Yeah. I don't know where
it's part of your champagne problems.
It really is. It really is, and I don't know where they come from. But these things, they're like earworms. Like what you just said is now like. One might be embedded in me, and then I won't be able to stop. It's like a tick where like I have to use it, and you don't know where it originated from. But like it's weird because one might stick and the other might not. It's like not intentional. It's like something clicked in me where I was like, oh, that's like an itch now. Like I have to say it over and over. So you never know. One of those might stick.
We've had people reach out to us before because we're the number one, and people go, my boyfriend has heard this before, and we'll just randomly go number one, just like randomly throughout the day. You'll just drop that line. I'm like, this is what we want. We want those things to stick around. People use it in their day-to-day basis. Another one of our good reliables is, I'm sorry, I'll apologize. Let's take a step back from social media. You know, we'll do some seminars.
Learn and grow. Oh, I'm really on a big learn and grow phase of my life. You know, I've done a whole, guys, I've learned a lot. I'm in a period of reflection.
Reflecting.
Are you manifesting?
Are you doing manifesting?
I'm not in the manifestation portion because I'm still learning and growing.
You'll get there.
And in order to manifest, supply chain. You sort of have to fix what's going on within you before you can focus on the future wants and needs for yourself. So
See,
really,
I know that's what you think. And I'm here to tell you, you just need to channel your inner hot girl, because hot girls manifest. If you're not a hot girl, you can't manifest. So when you look in the mirror and you're ready to manifest, you just go, oh, I'm hot. I can manifest now. That's all it is.
You have the tools.
You have the tools. You're already hot. You just then need to manifest. You know what I mean?
You know,
that's it.
I don't have the tools. I'm missing the tools. I don't
know. It seems like you're lifting the tools up. Yeah. I feel like I'm seeing the tools.
No, Mariah has the tools. Olivia has the tools. Nerese has the tools.
Mariah has other things. Don't get me started on Mariah. I know your friends, and I don't want to get into it.
She doesn't just have the tools. She has the toolbox, the tool shed, the tool.
She's a whole ass Home Depot.
She's got Home Depot.
She's a whole ass Home Depot.
She's Lowe's. That girl is Lowe's. Wait, Lowe's? Is that the?
Yeah. She's leaning against a window, crying while the rain falls.
God.
I love it.
In the only shirt she brought.
I just love, I truly do love Mariah. She's actually one of the funniest people that I've ever met. If you guys got to know her, I get it. The edit only shows certain things, but she is so fucking silly and funny. And she feels things so deeply. Like when I went and she's crying, like, no, Michelle.
Oh, that was great.
That was hilarious.
But her sitting by
Jay,
she's gone. She's gone.
Oh, Michelle. She's like, she's gone. I said it was like they were watching Squid Games. They thought you had legitimately died.
You just sucked into the black hole.
Just gone.
I feel like
I broke 2 ribs. She's dead.
Okay,
she's dead.
Wait,
broke some ribs.
Well, this broke 2 ribs thing has gained a lot of traction, and
yes.
So Olivia's like, oh, I broke 3 ribs, whatever, and I was like, oh, I broke ribs too. Well, my first season, I also had a rib issue, like whatever, but they don't send you to a doctor. They say you have an issue with these 2 ribs, whatever it is, broken, bruised. They don't diagnose because there's nothing that they can do for it. So it really, I guess you could do a CT scan or an MRI, but there's no actual thing that they can do.
Official diagnosis there. Yeah.
What about a popped boob?
Well, that
how do you
she has to get a surgery on it.
Did the rib pop the boob? I'm so confused.
She has to get a surgery on it. But I'm telling you, when I tell you that shit was so brutal, like it was hard to breathe, laugh, sneeze, sleep. I couldn't work out for weeks. Like it was so fucking painful. And this is my second time having like a rib situation. And I wouldn't wish it on an enemy. Really, truly, it really fucks you up. Like your walking hurts. Like everything. When laughter hurts, that's a really sad situation. It's really sad.
Yeah,
the sound your body made when it hit the water was unlike any sound I've heard before.
And I was like moaning.
The thud of your body hitting.
They were like, oh my god.
The moaning coming up. Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh my god, she's so sad she left. I'm like, no, guys. I literally got the wind ripped from my sails. I
died for a second.
I was like, there was no breath coming in. I was totally, and honestly, that was my overarching thing. It's so strange. I knew I was going home and I didn't feel any sorrow at that moment because I was so stressed about how badly hurt I was that I was like, oh my God, like, am I okay? And I didn't even feel sad. I was
you handled that purge with grace. Honestly, I was very impressed with how you handled that whole thing. Because like after the game you played, after beating Kara, after everything you went through, to go out at the end like that,
2 seasons in a row. 2 seasons in a row.
I thought you handled it incredibly well.
Yeah,
I really, when I tell you that part of the reason that I handled it that way was truly because I really was hurt, and I really was like, shit. I'm like I honestly don't think that I could have ran a final even if I wanted to at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was really hurt. But
it wouldn't have healed by then. Yeah, they went to a club away, and then
it definitely would not
go to a final.
It definitely would not have healed. Jesus. I would have been in the thick of it, trying to run, like carrying a rope with like my ribs hurting, like. But also, like, I really was like, I've done everything that I could have done. I played the game as hard as I could have played. I kept my integrity as well as I could have. And, I was like, I found love. I'm good. I'm going
in a
home.
hopeless place.
No, just kidding. But really, like, I really was in a place where I was like, I was so proud of my game. I genuinely left with my head held so high. I didn't know I was going to get this level of like hate and venom from the fans. I think a lot of that has to do with how much airtime I'm getting, which I can't control either. But
right.
But I really left so happy.
Yeah, it's like Taylor Swift at the NFL games, you know?
Yeah.
It's not her fault.
Yeah, and
whoa.
Yeah, we love Tay.
Did we just have Nixie give a T Swift apologize?
That's not her fault. I don't like her, but that's not her fault.
Okay, all right. I was like, what's happening?
I'm at least ungrounded.
We're not going to dive into why you don't like her. We'll get you therapy for that because she's amazing. Or we'll just give you the Lover album and that will help because we all know Lover helps everything.
I have John Mayer. I'll be just fine. Me and John are going to just kick it over here while you guys do whatever the fuck you're doing over there.
Okay. Well, I love John Mayer too, but no, but okay. I really left. I swear I left this game feeling so proud of myself. And then I got home and everybody had stopped talking to me. Like Corey wasn't talking to me. Nerys wasn't talking to me. Berna wasn't. They all blocked me. They all like.
Berna wasn't talking to you? What the fuck did you do to Berna?
Berna blocked me.
You were my number one.
So Nerys, Corey, Berna, Mariah was a little bit upset with me. Jay was upset with everybody. I guess they had went around and fact checked, meaning they all just talk shit about me. And Berna basically...
Well, yeah, you were being a brat, so...
Yeah, Berna basically went around saying that I had said this about this person, this about this person. I was like, I wasn't even friends with you enough for you to like I wasn't having conversations like that with you to talk shit about this person. So it felt like everybody was taking out their frustration or anger or whatever on me.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
And it was.
We saw in the last episode, Corey was sitting there with Colleen, and they were doing some of that. And I sat there and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Aren't you two both in a final because of her? Isn't this how it worked, Corey? With what you did earlier in the fucking season?
Yeah.
And then you say this shit." Like, this is how an alliance is supposed to work. An agreement's supposed to work. It's supposed to be mutually beneficial. And you hope you all get there. You guys got to the fucking end because the other sides of this, you're right in the fucking middle. So congratulations. Maybe be fucking happy that this worked for you. I couldn't believe that shit.
I text Corey very, very upset about this. I unfollowed Colleen. Whatever, it is what it is. I have no ill will towards Corey because I think in that moment he was just feeling like maybe because I chose Olivia, I was selling him down the river, which was never the truth of what was going on. But I was very much like, yeah, like I told you when you were in a bad spot. I tried to reintegrate you to make sure that you were having the conversations that you needed to have with the people that you needed to have them to. I always had your back in rooms that you weren't in. And so for me to leave and instead of showing any sort of signs of sorrow or like sadness that your friend is out of the game, that's, you know, been hopefully like sort of helping you this way. And you've been helping me as well. You're like, thank God she's out. It felt very like dagger to the heart. And then I got home.
Yeah.
And for all of that, for me to turn to my sister when I got home and I was like, I'm so happy with the way I played. Everybody who I played with is now in the final. Like, I feel like I've done the best that I could. And all of them,
isn't that the goal?
All of them blocked me and weren't following me or were ignoring me. And I was so like, wow, like
you really could not win with that.
Yeah.
I was so upset by the way it went down. And I was just like, well, I'll never like, why even have people's backs anymore? It's like, I'm so jaded from the whole experience, to be honest with you. I feel so jaded. I'm like, people hate me.
I don't blame you.
People hate me when I throw them in. People hate me when I try to work with them and protect them. I feel like I'm kind of at a like, everything I do is wrong. That's like how I feel. And yeah.
Go into the next season guns blazing. Just like, fuck all y'all. I'm here. Fuck it.
You know what it is? I figured it out while you were in the middle of that conversation. Supply chain. That's what it is.
It's a supply chain.
You just text them supply chain.
It's a supply chain.
Obviously.
It's
supply chain issues.
It'll work itself out eventually.
It will. Yeah. It will. No, but listen, there's always hurt feelings and resentment. You kind of sometimes have to put it somewhere, and so I get it. But I think from my perspective, it was like, you know, I was getting all of the resentment and not a single person who I felt like I had their back the whole game checked in on me. Like I also just did 2 back-to-back seasons, went home before a final. Now everybody's ignoring me, not talking to me. And like, I'm going through it too. And like, now you're all posting each other. You're all happy. You're all friends with each other. When you weren't friends the entire season, you're talking shit. And now like, I'm going through this alone and you're not being the friend that I need to. And I think that was like a really hard pill for me to swallow, that all of the friends that I was trying so hard to protect and have their back didn't have my back when I emotionally needed them, because I didn't need them the whole season. I didn't emotionally. Yeah. I mean, I needed them. Like I needed to work with them, and it was mutually beneficial. But emotionally, I never required anything from them. And when I did, they weren't there for me. They pushed me away. So I felt really sad about that.
Yeah.
Did any of this get ironed out in like the reunion? Or obviously we haven't seen the reunion yet. Who knows what they'll show and what they won't. But like, were you guys able to kind of like get to a better place now? Is there still people that are like, it just honestly probably got worse because of the reunion? Can you tell us anything about the reunion?
Some relationships. So most of my relationships, that anything that I'm sort of involved in, I handle it head on. I'm not somebody who like holds it all in and waits for a public forum to kind of like blindside somebody. If you're my friend and I'm having an issue with the way that you've treated me post game, you're going to know it. And I'm going to also try to dig in to be like, why aren't you there? Like, what have I done to you to make, like, I don't need TV to give me a forum to talk to somebody. So most of this stuff that I had going on, I talked to them directly about. Even Callum, I've even talked to him directly about everything that went on with him. But I think we'll see relationships. I think we'll see some people find resolutions. Most of them, we're not going to see any sort of resolution, I would say.
I feel like that's going to be the reunion. It's just people yelling at each other.
90% of the reunion is people yelling at each other, which is... I said to the producers, I was like, do we have any funny, fun moments in this whole reunion? It felt very, there's a lot of hate going on.
It doesn't sell. It doesn't sell.
There's a lot of, I mean, people are really hurt. People are really, really, they're just mad at each other. They hate each other. And I'm seeing it now too with like the way people are podcasting and tweeting. It's like, what are we doing this for? It doesn't need to be this negative. Yeah. It's really taken on a life of its own. And when people start feeding other people and talking and making it worse and worse and worse, because there's like, I have animosity with them. So does she. So does he. So then it's like a group mindset sort of thing where then it grows a third head.
It becomes a group think. Yeah. Right.
And I think
and then the little tweak on what that person says then gets tweaked by somebody else. And by the time it's gone like 5 levels deep, the thing is completely morphed and moved out of there. Yeah. Since you talked about fun things, there is something I do want to ask you. This was on our sheet here. What was your favorite funny thing that we did not see this year that you're just like, that episode airs and you're like, I didn't really think they would show that, but come on, that's just some good stuff. Okay. That's just some good stuff. Or somebody that you're like, this person, like you said, Mariah, she's very funny, but they're not going to show that because obviously they're showing this other side. I want to know some moments from you.
So the first one that pops into my mind is from USA 2. It was a huge fight between Josh and Fessy, and it was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. The way it ended was not hilarious because
I would pay
the way it ended was really, it ended up not being funny, but it started really funny. Fessy was he was really going ham on the beers. He was full sending it. Sometimes when Fessy does that, he starts to rap, do whatever. I know you guys probably know this story, because I think I had talked about it in my exit press, but he was doing a rap on the bus and he was like, Josh, you think you're a bad bunny, but you're actually a sour gummy. Like some shit like that. Like his rap's not good. But he called Josh a sour
Dixie's
gummy.
Loving
but
this.
Josh is also very emotional. So
wait, hold on. Breaking news into the Right Reality newsroom. We have an official report from the scene that Josh is an emotional person.
It's the supply chain. And the thing
Supply
is
chain,
that
baby.
There you go. You're getting it. You're getting it.
so I think also like Fessy is also very emotional, and sometimes you don't get that, but it's like you say the wrong thing to Fessy at the wrong moment, and
he punches you in the face and gets kicked off the show.
Josh had said something. Exactly. So Josh had said something sort of like, now we're an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours later at the kitchen table, and I hear something loud. I'm in the kitchen and I hear something loud, and I see like a table basically being flipped. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I guess Josh had said something sort of sassy to Fessy, but I think it's all stemming from this random rap. And so they get into a huge fight. I mean, it's in the preview, everything. How could that be eliminated? It was the most wild, like, stupid fight of all time, stemming from this dumb quote. I know.
I think I think it might be like a CBS issue that they don't want to show that. That was my take, because it was like, how did this disappear? I'm like, I think it's just like a CBS thing that they don't want to show that type of stuff on the network version of it. But
there was a few hookups in the MTV one in 39 that weren't shown that I think would have been fun. There was
serious lack of hookups. Serious lack for from an audience point of view. I mean, we know some things that haven't been released, but like why they didn't show some of that stuff is insane to me.
I would agree with you. I think a lot of them were very messy. So I think it's interesting that they weren't shown. There was a fight, and again, this isn't funny, but there was a fight between Kylan and Jay that was very, very intense. I was the third party there, which it was kind of funny because it was when Kylan was going into elimination, and it was just so like Kylan was giving nothing and Jay was giving everything, and it was really funny, but it wasn't supposed to be funny, but it would have been gold to be in there. Yeah. I think there was a lot of pranks from Big T, Mariah, and Melissa and me in that room that like could have been shown. I mean, overall, listen, this game, it's really crazy because there's so many bad moments that I think about. And I'm like, so many meltdowns. But really, the overarching thing is that it's actually really fun. These people are amazing. They're reality TV stars for a reason, and they're really funny and fun and dynamic to live with. So like, there's a million moments. You can't capture them all, and that's why it's like.
Yeah. We have two final things. We're not going to ask you to name names with the hookups because we would not put you in that position. I would like, however, unless you want to.
There's definitely one that's going to be shown at reunion.
Beautiful. Can you give me a number of total hookups that you're aware of from the season? Are we talking 8 or above?
Hold on.
Oh, she's using her fingers to count. This is a serious
people are
amount.
I'm glad that she's not like talking it out silently, and people would try to read her lips to figure out. Like,
I'm trying to go through.
Okay.
So each person. So
yeah, just like if they hooked up multiple times, it just counts once.
Well, like if
yes, no, I know that. Okay. Are you kidding me? We've been 100 digits. Stop.
100 digits.
I'm thinking. Yes.
Lots of banging in the bathroom, boys and girls.
How are they not showing this shit?
It's in the bathroom, Nixie. They know where to go. Come on.
I think there's probably 9 or 10 different combinations of people that have hooked up.
And let's see, how many are we aware of?
Wait, hold on. Let me see. I think
we're aware of 5.
We're aware of 5? Mixty, name off the ones that we're aware of.
Michelle,
who are you aware of? Yeah.
Emmanuel, and then we'll just go through the rest. Raven, Olivia, Colleen, and shit. Maybe it's 4 then. Is that the only 4?
Melissa and Kylan.
I think that's the 5.
Raven and Kieran.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They like showed
Mariah
them like kind of.
Did you say Mariah and James?
Nope,
Mariah
I didn't
James?
say Mariah and James. There's so many. You're
that.
right.
That's 7 off the jump.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
You're gonna find out about another.
Michelle, it's got to be more than 10.
You're gonna find out about another at reunion. Oh, Olivia. I'm sorry, Mariah and Horacio.
Mariah and Horacio.
No, I'm sorry, Nerys and Horacio.
I'm taking my headphones out. I had nearly blacked out. I did the same thing that you did when we said Laurel.
Sorry.
I nearly blacked out. I go, I don't think she was supposed to say this.
Supply chain.
Sorry. Okay, so eighth, supply chain. So eighth, make America great again. What's the America quote that you guys said?
You might not want to. You might not want to do that one. You might not want to do that one.
And let me clear the air, okay?
Mariah
and Horacio.
Mariah and Horacio. Definitely Mariah and Horacio, right? Is that what you're saying?
Listen,
that counts for 3.
I was thinking Mariah and James and Horacio and Nerys. Guys, don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't. You said it.
It's said it.
It's on recording.
I put the own words in my own mouth. No. My own words.
It's not your fault. The supply chain.
The fucking Cosmo, guys. I'm celebrating your 300th and now I'm slipping up. No. Okay, so if we're at 8, just from what you guys know, I would say I still stand by 10. I think there's probably 2 that you might not know about. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And one of them will be aired at Reunion for sure.
Oh.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Let's go.
When I tell you, jaw dropped.
Really?
You didn't know.
I did not know. Nobody knew.
That's impressive.
That's really tough.
Oh, I'm excited. Great
oh
teaser.
My God.
You're doing the work for MTV.
You know what? I've been doing. My back hurts. I've been carrying it. It's a supply chain.
Supply chain, Michelle backpack.
Supply chain on her back.
Jump in the backpack.
For a very, very, very weird realization of some strange shit that went on.
God, I hope they don't cut it.
No, they're
not cutting
way they
it.
can cut that.
They literally would never. They would never cut it.
No. My mind is just racing thinking about the combinations of people that this could be. And that people would not know about.
We'll have to put a poll in the hotties. If you're listening to this and you have a thought of who it could be, we're going to put it in the hotties and you let us know.
Unless they are spoiled and they're reading
I don't think that could be a spoiler.
It hasn't been spoiled. From what I know, it has not been spoiled.
Well, there's nothing from the reunion that's leaked out anywhere?
I haven't seen anything. There was some stuff about Michelle, Olivia and Nerys like making up, but Nerys was like, "That's all fucking lies. We're not friends." So that's the only.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't think things were. I honestly don't know if things were leaked, but I don't think it was. I don't think it's been leaked. So don't go searching. Just let your mind be blown like mine was.
Yes,
exactly. MTV, I know you're listening to this because you listen to everything we do. What's up? Hi, welcome to the number one again. Maybe your problem with information getting leaked is the people who did not go to the reunion who are part of production and the people who are in the field. Just a thought. Just a thought if you're trying to figure out where it's going. Just the thought process, but that is here or there.
I've never seen a show get spoiled so quickly in my life.
It's really unfortunate. It is really unfortunate. And what I will say is that Survivor really doesn't get leaked like that. And it's like you know, a lot of times it's like, well, cast don't talk to people. It's like, we're not talking to people. Like, it was spoiled that I was out before I even had my phone. Like, my parents.
That's what I'm saying.
My parents knew before I was even out to tell them. Like, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's clearly not coming from us. So now they're now I can't speak to everything.
Again, they know who it is.
I can't speak to everything. I can't speak to details. I know that it's not spoiled for me, but I will say that, like, you know, it's obviously coming from somewhere else, not the cast.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate.
I think they know. And they continue to let it happen because there's only a finite number of people who are in that circle and have been in that circle long enough to match up the timelines of what the leak accounts are. Therefore, you could figure it out if they really wanted to. I think they either A, know about it, or B, just don't really care enough because that continues the ongoing season that they want this whole situation to have. Last question is always Mixie's. It's a very important question for Mixie. It tells her a lot about who you are as a person, especially in your house.
I feel good about this. I feel like Michelle's going to give me the right answer.
I do too. I feel like she's definitely going to give you the right answer. And I will state there is one correct answer and one very incorrect answer.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. When you put the toilet paper on the hook, does the paper go over or under?
I've been schooled. I've been schooled from this. I've made the mistake of under before, and Lord knows that's that's not the right decision.
You've had a me in your life.
I've had it.
It's not the right decision.
It is not.
It's really not. And I don't feel, I will say, I'm not somebody who passionately stands in one corner or the other, but I would never, I know it would cause some people to go into a state of turmoil, distress, self-reflect. Last thing I need is people to sit on my toilet and spiral into a deep, meaningful self-reflection. So I need to do my service by having it over, because that's what makes people feel the most comfortable. So I know what the people want.
Thank you,
I know
Michele.
what the people want, and Lord knows
She's
I'm
a giver.
I'm really a pillow princess. I'm really not a giver, but let's just
That's different.
let's just make it known. Let's just make it known. I'm a taker. No, but
I like that. In the bedroom, you are a taker. In the bathroom, you are a giver.
Giver.
it's true.
Well, unless it's the challenge bathroom, then it might be different.
There's no mics in the challenge bathroom, so who knows if I'm a giver or a taker? No, this really has gone
Allegedly.
It's supply chain. It's supply chain. No, guys, this has gone full circle. I mean, we've really just.
It's how we do it here.
We do everything correct here at the number one. The only thing we're asking you to work on for the future, from Mixie's perspective, is just zero out that microwave timer at the end.
Okay.
That's all she's asking.
And you know what?
I believe in you.
And sometimes all it takes is one person to believe in you in order for you to manifest the things that you deserve in the future. And I'm leaving here with my head held high. Yeah. I'm leaving here with some self-reflection. I'm leaving here with a good turns of phrases in my pocket and a joyous outlook on the future of myself and the challenge. So thank you guys. Happy 300th episode.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
We laughed. We cried. We had microphone outputs. We experienced everything on this 300th episode. It's all you can hope for and more.
I'd say she closed us out for us. I really think you did the job for us.
Thanks so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Oh, God.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on all social media.
Smash that subscribe button.
Well, Michele said it best herself. What an absolute roller coaster of an episode with her. I had so much fun. I really hope that this changed some people's opinions of her. I think that she was painted in a bad light. Some, not so fair assumptions about her were made. And I just loved this interview. I thought it was a great 300 for us.
Yeah, it really was. I enjoyed it. Like, the goal wasn't to set out to be like, here's what you have wrong about her. But I think it was what we did, we learned and grew. We learned and grew during the podcast. And that's what we're all about here at the number one, is learning and growing and doing stuff like that. We'd also like to thank everybody who listens, everybody who has come on recently, our OGs, you know who you are, everybody in the Hot Take Hotties Facebook page, people watching on YouTube, the people hating on us in the YouTube comment section. You're still watching, so that's all that matters, and you're engaging. So that, again, if you don't like us, don't engage. It will only help us if you engage in the comment section. So thank you for that, by the way. And listen, I don't really know what else to say, but I want to thank Mixie here for jumping on a couple seasons ago and being so awesome at just being like, okay, yeah, let's fucking do this, and crushing it and coming into her own with that. Everybody seems to love you so much, so I really appreciate you being here for the journey as well.
Thank you, and I would like to extend the same thing to you. You do all of the heavy lifting on the editing and the back end stuff of things. You guys don't understand how much time and energy Stephen puts into this, and that is why it is so entertaining for everybody. So thank you for also allowing me to come in on this and have a good ass fucking time. I will say, programming note, it is looking like the final is going to be 2 episodes. So we will be releasing both of those episodes on our end together at the end of the second episode. Just so you are aware, it'll be 1 episode of The Right Reality recapping the entire final. So don't really look out for anything from us. This is our bonus little episode to keep you through until the end. But that is the game plan on our end. And then I am willing to accept any ideas for upcoming shows. I'd like to take a break from what is happening in the challenge universe. But any shows that you guys are seeing, feel free to DM us, post it in the hotties. We're open to taking a short little break and coming back with something really fun and exciting.
Yeah, it needs to be something, don't just be like, hey, do Love is Blind? Because,
I'm not doing Love is Blind.
That's very tough.
I'm also not doing Love on the Spectrum. Don't ask.
We're just enjoying those shows separately that we're not talking about. But yeah, there's some logistical nightmares with some Netflix shows and stuff like that. So, we got to be mindful of that. But let us know what you're watching or what is upcoming. We've been trying to see what's coming up. Unfortunately, DILF Manor is not one of those things that we've been praying for.
It's going to come. It's got to be coming. It's got to be coming. Unless they all fought each other in episode 1, which is what I thought they would do.
Honestly, if we're really thinking about it, it's always coming in DILF Manor.
What a great way to end it. Thank you for 300 episodes, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for the support. We will see you for the final.
Bye. Bye.